Drinking water all day at your tournaments and still feel tired? What if we could hydrate you from the cellular level? At BioWorks Mobile IV Service, our licensed professionals understand what it takes to get through a long day of exercise. We use all natural vitamins to increase hydration, recovery, and prolonged athletic endurance. Help your team get to the podium. Book now by texting the number on your screen or calling today. Call 972-948-8207 to book now. That's 972-948-8207. BioWorks. Hydrate, win, repeat.
In the Pits is partnered with Podrunners Union. Podrunners Union breaking news. Super limited Union Tech tees and, for the first time, Fiesta medals are available online at podrunnersunion.org. Use offer code PITS for 10% off of your order. Stealing pods for undeserving teams. It's a living. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of paintball fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team, PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these Golden Eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot is now scheduling photo and reels coverage for teams competing in the upcoming NXL Lone Star Major. Head to GetDat_shot on Facebook or Instagram to check out his previous work, or to shoot him a message to secure your media coverage today. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 94 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and a new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans, and this episode we are going in the pits with Pate Smith, sponsor of Major League Paintball's Move of the Event through his firm Pate Smith Law, and player for TKO. Pate, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. Just got home, took the kids to a little Mexican, met one of the guys that plays on the team and his family, Tanner, like a favorite Mexican restaurant we go to. Although it'll be highly contested as we have a Mexican restaurant moving into the neighborhood. So that's it's tough. Be able to drive the golf cart to get nachos and margaritas, which I feel like is a next level option. So
that's a huge dub right there.
Oh, that's like, I literally was texting my buddy and I was like, dude, the joy in my life, the fact that I can drive a golf cart to Mexican food. I mean, what a life upgrade.
Oh, man. Better be ordering the size up on your carbons next time.
Oh, my God. So I'm not a big carbon guy. I've never liked their soft goods. I haven't given it a real good try, but I liked the infamous unders. Okay. But in Texas, I feel like I can only wear them in the winter because it's so humid here.
Right.
So you wear the unders and maybe at a tournament, but at practice, man, it's like, some serious humidity going on in those infamous unders here when it's like 110 in Texas.
100%. Yeah. No, I kind of just tough it out. I don't know. I'm always like a practice how you play kind of guy. So I'll wear the gloves, I'll wear the jersey, even when a bunch of guys are just wearing like the tank top or whatever at practice, I'm like, nah, I just got to tough it out.
Yeah, dude, if I could get away with wearing ankle braces, knee pads, compression shorts, a pack, a tank top, and elbow pads, I'd do it. But people are like, hey, that's kind of weird. So, yeah, I still wear pants just to, but I mean, why, right? Like, it's not like let's just be honest. The compression shorts are down to the knee pads, and so it's basically like a capri pant. So, what's the big deal?
Right, for sure. Well,
that's a new vibe. I think you'll see a lot of people start rocking that after this episode. They'll be just doing the compression shorts, no pants. I didn't condone it. I don't condone it. I just came up with it. You guys feel free to use that.
Well, we're gonna see how loyal the fans are of the show and of you. So we'll see it this weekend. I mean, we're kind of getting to the point where we're in our last probably 3 or 4 weeks before it just starts getting unbearable outside.
Yeah, that was so I'm from Southeast Alabama, kind of near the Florida line, and it was hot and humid there. Man, the summers here there's something. I don't even, it's daunting. It's just an amount of heat that is so serious.
Oh yeah, I think everybody that runs a paintball league in Texas kind of realizes it, and that's why the front of the schedule is so loaded this year, because they're all trying to get half of their events in before the end of May hits.
Yeah, dude. That I have a scar on my foot from that really hot bunker fest. The top of my foot got burned when I was sitting in a Dorito shooting cross. It burned pretty bad. We're worried it was going to get infected. Had a pretty cool little weave from my sock burning into the top of my foot from that. Yeah, so I've decided anything above 110, I'm just going to skip it out. I've played a lot of paintball tournaments. We're going to go to the pool and let the kids splash around instead of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the Texas July event special. It seems like every event there's either someone that passes out to heat stroke or gets the burns on the turf burns, and it's a time. But
sure, someone's gonna die. I don't know when it'll be.
Man.
Somebody's gonna be way too heavy on the Red Bulls. I'll tell you exactly what's gonna happen. All right, I'm gonna throw a scenario at you.
All right, there we go. We got our first I'll tell you what of the episode.
Okay. So when this is a very much a thing that is common, and I've played paintball a long time, okay? And since my first paintball tournament, I've seen this. There's gonna be somebody that's probably, like, they get there to the field super early. In the car, they get out, they're fully dressed. They've already got the elbow pads on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're listening to probably, like, Down with the Sickness. Do you know that
Oh
song?
yeah.
Yeah, they're blaring that. They open the car door, they just let it keep going. They've already got the headband on, and they're probably going like a hormesis on top of a hormesis that they paid like $200 per headband on. These people for sure are not gonna make it out of the prelims in like D7. But one of those people, they're just gonna be too hyped all day. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 a.m. they're hyped, 3 p.m. at their D7 5-man thing. You know, they're like, whoa, I'm tired. Dude pops like his 7th Red Bull of the day. It's 115 degrees outside. Like one of those dudes are going to die. I'm positive. I was betting on it last year. I was telling people to hydrate, but, you know, I just foresee that happening. It's going to be a sad day for paintball when one of these cats pass. But yeah, the other thing, bros, you can take that jersey off. You don't have to wear it all day. That's a pro tip.
Oh yeah. Well, unless I mean, I don't know. I've got the jerseys that the Titans wear. They're like fully mesh, and they're pretty nice actually to wear at the events because helps take it off. You know, take off the I don't know the heat just a little bit. So I like keeping everything on. Just I don't know. I have like a weird thing, especially with like the pads. I know a lot of people are the same way with like arm pads and knee pads. Like if those things come off, it's because we're done for the day.
I'll pull my arm pads off in between matches and not my knee pads. But I wear ankle braces.
Hmm.
And I used to wear ankle braces and tape. And so that was when I just got used to knee pads and pants all day. But yeah, I usually if I'm not playing a match, am not in arm pads. But
Gotcha.
I'm old, dude. You're like 20 something, you know, you're still spry. I'm conserving energy over here, right? Like 6 o'clock hits, I'm ready to go to sleep. This is what we're an hour 44 past my bedtime right now.
Oh man. I may be young in calendar, but I don't know. My body's definitely seen some better days. I mean, you know, like I've missed quite a few events just due to various injuries that I've had, but hopefully, you know, we don't need any of that bad juju. You know, everybody out there, bless the ankles, bless the knees, bless the backs, bless the hydrations. We don't need any of that going into.
I do think paintball has given me like a mobility routine. So if I didn't play paintball, I wouldn't stretch. And I didn't really find stretching until I mean, I did it, but not for like a mobility's sake.
Mm,
Now it's like I'm doing it for like injury prevention. When I'm 60, I want to be able to like play with my kids, you know, like really play with my kids, not, you know, just like toss a ball around. I don't know. Like I still want to be able to do a layup at 60 if I need to. And I think you have to be proactive with your mobility, which is like super lame, but you know, I wake up kind of early and stretch and stuff. Usually starting 2 or 3 days out from a practice, and if it's like a big event, usually I start 2 or 3 days out some of practice and then go straight through into the event. And I'll do, you know, 45 to 90 minutes a day.
well, shout out to Dane, who's one of the kids that are on my team. He's 13 years old, and every time, like we're all warmed up, stretching out, and he's just like, "I don't stretch before I play."
Dude, you're
Like,
13.
dude,
You could shoot him in the leg and he'd be fine.
oh man, I'm
13, bro, you could throw. I have 7-year-olds right now. I bet I could throw them off the house. They would land on the ground, be like, Dad, why'd you do that? And run to the neighbors. Like they're just made of Play-Doh.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that youth ain't gonna last forever for Dane. So if you're listening, Dane, you better start stretching because it'll creep up on you faster than you think.
You got a good, you know, you're 13, Dane. You got a good 7, maybe 15 years before you have to start stretching. So enjoy your time while it lasts.
For sure. All right, Pate. So let's get into this. We got a lot of people in the chat already. Chris Ballou asks what the over under is on the number of I tell you what's. I said it pretty high, but we'll see. He took the
Well, I
under.
think it's probably 7.
I put it at 12.5.
Oh my God.
Well, he took the under, so he's got some faith there. So let's get started here. So this first question is brought to us by XTPL Events. So for those listening that maybe don't know about you, how long have you been involved in the Texas paintball scene?
Texas paintball, 21, 22 type thing. I moved here during either Hurricane Laura or Hurricane Sally for work.
Hmm.
I don't remember which one. So I'd have to look at that. But I think I've been in my house 3 years. So like 22, 21, 22.
Gotcha. All right. So what are some teams that you've played for during like your entire time in paintball?
Yeah, so I played my first national tournament in '03, and that was before APPA, with Dixie Rain out of Alabama. That name didn't age well, shout out. And then I played a event or two with some of the Brady's Paintball guys. That was like Brady's Paintball was like an early online retailer. They actually sponsored LTZ back in the day. I played with LA SWAT, which if you guys played like Greg Hastings 2 or MPPL Championship 2009, we were in that game. We won the CFOA series in like '07. Won some events with them. I won my first national event with them. And then I played on a team called Avarice, which was the original Avarice that Jason Bonner ganked the name from, which, I mean, of course he would. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you? If I was going to copy somebody, I would copy some swaggy Alabama dudes. But we also had like Ben and Jaime from Excessive, Jamil Thomas from like Aftermath, Indianapolis Mutiny. But that team had some really good people on it. So like Brian Johnson, who later played on Katana and then NRG Elite, was on that team. Obviously, a couple guys. Thomas Taylor coached us. That was a good team. We underperformed pretty harshly. We were like always in that top bubble, but never a winner. Then that season, I joined Katana and played on Katana for a while. All in that, I was playing on like random teams with like buddies. So like I think that was more of a thing back in the day that y'all don't do now. So like you and I would just like hang out and I'd be like, yo, Christian, you're cool. I'm cool. I know we play on like different national teams, but like just let's get some homies together and play a regional tournament series. And so what's weird is like here, like everybody kind of sticks to their camp. I really do miss kind of like mixing in and just having a weekend where we take like 8 dudes and we practice the weekend before. And I understand why, because like we invest so much time into paintball and so much time in our teams that we want to like maximize our opportunity for success. And I do the same thing now, right? Like I'm not going to the field playing with other teams typically unless I like ever. I've probably done it like 4 times last year. You know, but that's also because y'all don't have to travel.
Right.
You know, when I lived in Omaha and I played on Katana, you know, like I had to fly across the country. When I lived in Alabama, like central Alabama, and I played on Katana, we practiced at CFP a lot of times. So that's like what, 9 hours? So we're going to have a group that practices up there. Maybe we have some Atlanta people. Maybe we have some South Alabama people. I do miss that kind of like the mix in situation. But man, Texas paintball is, I've never seen anything like this, and I've played a lot. Like people are lucky. Within an hour of my house, there's like 6 airball fields. If you're not good at paintball or as good as you want to be, that's your fault. If you live here, like if you're like, I want to play pro paintball. Oh, actually, this is a good topic. This drives me insane. I like hear people talk about, oh, I'm going to try to play semi-pro. I'm going to try to play pro. I'm trying to play this next year. But like, you play less than I do. You play less than the teams that are mediocre at the field. Why are these people going to pick you up? You're not winning events right now in D4. You're not winning events right now in D3. Like, is a semi-pro team going to look at you because you're fast? Yeah. But, like, you don't have the mindset to be successful. And that's not like just a paintball thing, just life in general. You're lying to yourself. And I would say that that's like a big thing in this sport is people lie to themselves and think they're just going to get like put on because they're able to do something cool, or they've won some stuff. I think that like you work with people that are some of the best players ever, okay, and one of the best coaches ever. Like those people aren't going to be dethroned by some guy that's just fast and won a regional event. The amount of effort and time that it takes to be actually successful, like that elite tier, and this isn't just like paintball, that's like anything. So like you want to be the best auto sales guy, you want to, you want to sell the most cars, you want to be like the top tier guy in commercial sales at LinkedIn, I don't know. But like that's, you're not going to stumble upon that. That's not going to be like you're just going to get put on by somebody. Like that's going to take some time and effort. And I do see that as like a thing that is happening here is everybody wants like that next step up, but they're putting in like months of work when in reality you're looking at like a decade of commitment.
Yeah, I
And like,
mean, it's
you
an
look at it,
interesting trend. It's an interesting trend. I think part of it was like Fit and Blastcamp left the semi-pro division, and everyone's like, "Now's our chance," and they just made the jump. But yeah, like just how are you gonna? I don't know. How are you gonna expect to win that when you're like struggling to be a consistent Sunday team at a D4, D3 level? So, it's definitely like I don't know. Maybe there's general like notion of like I'd rather be a small fish in a big pond than a big fish in a small pond type deal, but they don't understand that there are lessons to be learned at every division, and if you haven't either ranked out of that division or at least won an event in that division, then you haven't learned everything there is, and you're probably not ready to be successful higher up. I mean, look at, for example, like the teams like Houston Zone's D5 line and the Texas Titans D5 line. They were back and forth in Bunker Fest, like top 2, top 3 teams all year last year. And some of those, I'm willing to bet several of those players could probably get picked up on teams like by skipping a division to go to D3 or whatever. But they both said, you know what? We finished our D5 year. We're going to go play D4. And I mean, look what happened. They got third place. They met up in the third place game in Vegas. So because they did their time, they went through the grind, and yeah, now they're ready to be successful at the next level. So definitely need to do your time if you expect to win tournaments, right? Because anybody could. Technically, there's nothing stopping you from going to sign up for a semi-pro tournament. The only thing that your APPA rank does is lock you out of the lower levels.
I actually like it when teams bump if they bump with the commitment. So if you look at what's that team Luke plays on? The Oilers. So like that's a great example. So those dudes, they skipped a division, and I haven't even talked to them about it, but I'm just like outside looking in and then watching how they commit to practice. Like if you commit to practice and you commit to your time and you commit to your craft and you want to skip a division, sick, do it. And those guys did it. And what did they get in Texas?
They got 6th, I want to say. Or in Vegas they got 6th. I don't know what they got last year, but
Vegas, not Texas. Yeah, but no, that's good. Semi-pro, they hopped in, they did 6. But like I also see those guys practice and I see their commitment. Right? They're not thinking they're gonna like hop up and get put on. These guys are like, hey, I know what it takes. That is, there's like a really interesting dichotomy, kind of like on the humbleness it takes to be a success at this as
Mm.
you want to go up versus the like I'm good idea. And I would do like that Texas has that kind of like if you come in and you don't have that humble mindset, like you get humbled quickly here,
Oh yeah,
which I like.
yeah. In Texas, there's no easy
Dude,
games.
that's like your boy Dylan Strickland. He thought he would be good at practice when he practiced against us when he came up there. Dude just got wrecked all day. I told him, I was like, hey man, just start playing on after the first hit. And I think that's why he like said, "Oh, we'll hook y'all up with chicken at lunch." No chicken was to be seen. He was like, "Oh, sorry, ran out."
Damn.
I'm holding that against him.
Oh, that's leave me out of that one. That's all.
I
He's
don't know,
the
man. I feel like
executive there.
you're vice president over there, dude. You can
I
you
don't,
got pull the strings. You got the podcast. Just like Christian, these people came.
I'm more of an ambassador than anything else.
Listen, you're underplaying your role.
I don't know. I let Dylan's the one that signs the checks and kisses babies and all that. So that's he can take the glory. He'll also take the fall sometimes too. All right, leave me out of that.
Feel that. I know how that is.
All right. So Pate, tell us. Let's back up a little bit. What got you into paintball to begin with?
So my buddy Adam and Steve Pusilowski, they had Brass Eagle Talons. And this was, I was like 12 or 13. And they were like, yo, there's actually a gun that they're selling, a paintball gun that's like, Shredden put out like a $9 pump at Walmart. And I bought it. And I think I had 200 rounds, and we went and we played in maybe my house or his house, and we had the time of our life. And my $9 pump broke. I upgraded. I got a semi-auto and played again. Semi-auto, such a game changer. And then from that, then I said, okay, listen, we're gonna spend $200. I'm like 14. Got the Spider TL Plus. The amount of saving I had to do to get a Spider TL Plus with a 12-inch ceramic J&J barrel and a Revolution loader was something I can like remember that gun today. Like I guarantee you I could fix a TL Plus now. I loved that gun so much. So did that. Then I had a job reffing on Fort Rucker at the Morale, Welfare, and Recreational Paintball Building. And that's how I paid for paint. And we play there. And then I played my first tournament and we won one game. But I was like, whoa, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen. My mom took me and my buddies and we went. I pulled like one pod all day. Also, we shot way less back then because like, we're shooting 3 to 7 balls per second, but at max. But yeah, dude, that was what got me in and got me hooked. And then we started saving up for a Bushmaster 2000 with an LCD screen.
Do you still have it or?
Nah, dude, had to sell that to get a 03 Black Magic autococker, I think.
Mm.
Maybe I had a Angel. I don't remember, but yeah.
Oh man. Well, I mean, just like most everybody else, when the bug bites, the bug bites hard, and it's real easy to dive all in pretty quick.
I used to tell my wife, not anymore because she's an absolute G, but she'd be like, oh, we got this weekend. I'd be like, yeah, but I got paintball. And no matter how long we've been together, I've had paintball for like 11 years longer. But I let that go because she outranks paintball. I watched her deliver 2 kids once, which was pretty. I was like, you know what? She beat paintball like 2 kids at once. You
Definitely cooler than the 1-on-3 you might have pulled off at some point.
Yeah, yep. Yes, it was an all-time. That was so twin pregnancy, like Greenspan just had twins. But twin pregnancy is a wild time, dude. If you ever get to experience it, it's a rare thing. Man.
Well,
You gain a level of appreciation, which I'm sure you do when a person's like pregnant with one kid, but like, dude, they get big, dog, and that struggle is real.
well, I'm not gonna contest that by any means. I think I know better than that. All right. So this next question is brought to us by Sasha from Pod Runners Union. So throughout your time in Texas, yes, sir, Papa Sash.
Shout out to the PTG Discord.
Oh yeah. So throughout your time in Texas, what are some things that you have noticed that have changed within the Texas scene for better or for worse?
Better, a lot of the fields are better. I was recently at Zone. Jim had the field looking pretty good down there. That's a better. Obviously, we have Wasteland. That's our home field for TKO. I don't know. I wish there was more locals. Like, I really like that Houston, Texas paintball series, and Dallas has like that's where Dallas has like a tournament every week. So there's so many acronyms in Dallas. I'm like, oh, this weekend's the UPC 474 tournament. Oh, cool. Like you don't really. I think like if Dallas was Dallas alone has more tournaments than most states, right? Like, but I do wish that there were more locals. I wish Houston, like had a local every 2 months or something. I don't think HTPS is going. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And local paintball is hard. I mean, that's how a lot of the teams I played on were able to afford paintball was reffing and putting on local tournaments. And it's hard because a lot of teams are just like, I'll play big regionals, I'll play big nationals. And in this area, there's so much of that. It's, frankly incredible, but it does kind of, I feel like, put a distance. It's like, okay, we'll start out and here's 2 or 3. And then, your next thing's like a Bunker Fest or USXBL. And I mean, it's like you've got D5 and then, you're in with the Wolves. Like D4 is like the old D2. You got everybody in there. You got people that have played pro, semi-pro, D2, and they're mixing in, and they're 40, and I mean that's basically me at this point. It's hard. There's a big learning curve there that I thought regionals, if we had more of them, would serve better. Maybe it's just like an underserved or under needed kind of part of paintball, but I could definitely see like I do miss that in Texas paintball in my short time here.
Right. Yeah. I think we see on the calendar, like there's just no room in the calendar really. You're going to be stepping on someone's toes if you try and schedule an event. I mean, I typed in the word Waxahachie for PB League so you can see all of the tournaments that are happening specifically at FIT. And there are 17 tournaments happening this year at Paintball FIT.
Yeah, dude. Paintball FIT, what are y'all doing? Are y'all trying to just monopolize regional paintball?
That's just at FIT. That's not counting like the NXL Dallas event coming up at Garland. That's not counting the ICPL happening up there. The 2 ICPL events actually that are happening up in Dallas. There's
Devin Stewart is trying to get like some sort of conglomeration of like Austin, Houston, and San Antonio people to just completely boycott all things in Dallas paintball related. I told Devin I didn't know if it'd be a good idea, but he was like he thought it could happen. So
I don't know about a boycott. I mean, Paintball FIT definitely has earned the reputation that they have. So, and
Devin was saying he don't like any of the people over there at Paintball FIT. I was like, you know what? I'm cool. Yeah, I don't know. He's a big time hater though.
Oh man, yeah. Shout out to Devin. Sorry for any messages that are blowing up your phone here shortly.
People in Dallas, I have no problem with you. It's all Devin. He's trying to. That's.
Yeah, sorry, Devin. But All right. So right now, Pate, you're playing Division 4 with TKO, and you also just told us you were playing with PC Katana back in 2013 and 2014 season, which a lot of people don't know about you. And PC Katana went pro in 2017 after winning the 2016 semi-pro season in the NXL. So at the time that you played with that camp, was there something special about either the players or the way the organization was run that you think helped their trajectory to the pro division?
Had a lot of really good players. A really kind of like, if you look at that team, Justin Bailey just got major playing time with the Hurricanes in the finals. That guy's Justin Bailey, for people don't know, is maybe the best paintball player to ever come out of Alabama. Aaron Pate's up there. Scott Colson. I really think that if Scott Colson, people don't even know who that is. He was on Katana. That dude's had like more ACL and MCL surgeries than anybody I know. We had a lot of good people. Corey Jones, he's been on a ton of teams. He's on CP now. He's been on Aftermath. We just didn't have any money and couldn't get together for practice. I was in Omaha, Corey was in Hawaii, Carlos was in South Florida. Like, nobody was together. Everybody was hours and hours apart. I think like Zupa, that's on Impact, he was on Katana before Revo. Logan Landry from Landry Logistics, that's PC Katana. Colin Cherry. I mean, we had Evan Manners. Like, Evan was after me. He was like, Mike McGowan starts for Ironman now. Killers, dude. And that's what we did. Was there was all those people grew up kind of in a bubble of like Alabama, Tennessee, Northwest Florida, Georgia, where it was hard, man. Like, there wasn't paintball like this, where you guys can go 45 minutes one way. We traveled 7 hours, and not just for like a good practice. Like, here people are like, oh, I'm going to go to Austin for a good practice. Bro, we would travel 7 hours to get on an airball field. We would have to fly somewhere to get a layout practice. And I think like that was that relentlessness. You know what I'm saying? Like, Devin, like, Devin didn't say that about the Dallas thing. I do just like mess with Devin a lot. But like, Devin, I do for real say this, how soft everybody here is about travel. Because y'all be like, I'm not going there. That's across town. Dude, you won't wake up 30 minutes earlier because you can get a like normal practice like against a team instead of going to the one next to your house. What are you guys doing? I think that team had a relentlessness. Like, the amount of breakout drills we would do on a layout practice to start. We would pot up all of the pods we had. Okay. And then we would take 10 cases and put it behind each box. So 10 down there, 10 down there. And then we'd all just rotate until, those 20, 30 cases were done. And then we'd do it again. And then once we had that was how we started. Right. And you go through 40, 50 cases in like 3 hours. And dude, we were broke and we were paying for it. And that was it was not a question of like, if we were going to do it, it was a question of like, what was it going to take? And I will tell you that like, that probably gave me more in life than anything else. Like, just learning that it doesn't matter what it takes if you just commit to like, you're going to do it. Like MK says, my wife says sometimes, or has said, like, I'm willing to die for certain things, which isn't true. But like, I do kind of get into this mindset with things. And I think I learned that from that time on PC Katana, to be real with you, when it was like, at Dan's behind Dan's shop on an airball field where there's no breeze and it's sand on grass or grass on sand. It's like 100 degrees and it doesn't matter because like this is your opportunity and like other people have better opportunities, but you're going to maximize what you have and you're going to get what you need and it doesn't matter how long it takes. And I think when I learned that in life became easier. Some like being successful at things became easier because I understood that my feelings don't matter in my success. That's like the most powerful thing paintball ever taught me. It's like I don't care how much it hurts. I just want to be able to do it. And that's why paintball is amazing because like you also think you learn something, then you get to the event and you're completely wrong and you get to adapt. And like, that's the fun part about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean,
how many times you're like, oh, I'm going to hit this shot. This out's going to play. Out plays completely different.
Oh yeah. That happens all the time. I mean, you have your best guess, but then, like everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. But yeah, there's your quote right there for anybody who's listening. This is gonna be the headliner for the episode. It wasn't a question of if we were gonna do it. It was a question of what was it gonna take. And that's a huge lesson. I think I know we were just kind of messaging back and forth like how paintball, the game of paintball, has taught so many life lessons that people can be successful with. I mean, there's if you go back and listen to previous episodes that I've done with Ryan Brand, like. That's one of the things that he says, that a lot of those kids that were originally on X Factors, they were coming up to pro. They're all very successful in their, careers now because of the life lessons that they've learned through the game of paintball.
I mean, like my COO of my law firm, paintball player, right? Like, but why? Because I mean, dude, if he gets a call at 7:00, because I know he wants to be successful and I know he knows what it takes. And I don't know, there's a different tick. Like eventually, and not every paintball player gets this, but like there's a different tick, right? Like I do like that about paintball and business.
Definitely.
Here's a good question. Like, dude, when you first started this podcast, one, how bad did you suck and how low were your numbers? Low.
Oh gosh.
Right? Look at you now. Are you here? How many episodes have you done?
This is episode 94.
What if we had like one view, just my mom? Like my mom is definitely at some point going to watch this, right? Like my mom watches everything. We could have one view and like probably you'd be like, well, that episode stunk, on to the next. Because it wouldn't matter your past results. It would matter. And like, I would guess that paintball probably gave you a little bit of that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's definitely a level of, you have to commit and understand that like it's going to take a while and it's part of the process. It truly is. And I mean, same thing with climbing the divisions. It's the same way, looking to try and win a tournament or win a series or, make it to the pro field one day. Just understanding that, like, you have to work harder than everybody else just to catch up to them. You're going to have to do it over a long period of time.
You work with Archie.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at their success is like what they're experiencing right now is success because of like time, right? Like they have put in an immense amount of time and they've been able to last. Like they were good, but like let's just be honest, like there was a time when dynasties sucked, dude. Like, and they had good people. Glenn Takamoto, one of the best guys at that type of position at the time, was on the team. Tyler Harmon was on the team, right? They had a great, like Ryan Greenspan, like Tyler Harmon, Ryan Greenspan, Glenn Takamoto, like Spica was on the team, like Dalton. They sucked. They like lost out of the prelims a lot. There's like a documentary about it. But that didn't matter. What you're seeing now is like a culmination of time. And those guys win even when they don't have players and they have players playing out of position. And they do it because I tell your wife, I said, "What's up?" Good meeting her.
Pate says hi. We're mid episode right now, but you can come say hi.
Good seeing you again.
She also says thanks for the drinks over at the Summit Awards.
Listen, I glad for you guys to come by and hang. It was an amazing evening. But yeah, dude, I think that's what you're seeing is like a culmination of just like time and skill. And so like people are gonna have to not gonna like wake up one day and accidentally be better than Archie. Like you're gonna have to put your time in. And I think if you follow Todd Boyer on Instagram.
I've seen a couple of things from him. Like I've seen some podcast episodes. I don't follow his Instagram page, but I've seen him do like things here and there.
You should follow his gram because like that'll show you like that dude wants it so bad, and you'll see the effort that somebody who basically is like, no matter what, I'll do what it has to take. And I haven't really talked to him about it, but like from the outside looking in, it's incredible.
Yeah, it was cool following him last year when he was competing in the duel. That was really cool to watch.
It was, yeah.
All right, so here in the chat we got some love for you. Let's see, you got the Josh Kroons in here, Austin Arrington, Tim Corrigan. Josh Kroons saying that the Oilers guys are at Splat Zone all the time. I'd definitely be at Splat Zone if I lived over there. I mean, having that nice facility that they've got, air conditioned, actual restrooms, like amazing.
Oh yeah.
All right, so on your PB Leagues profile, you took a pretty big break from competitive paintball from 2017 to 2021. What was it that caused the break, and what brought you back into the game?
So probably like 2015 is when the break really happened. 14, 15. Like for a long time, paintball was like my Mount Everest. And like 2013, that started to switch, maybe a little before that. And for some reason, like business became a Mount Everest. And I knew that I could not. Like if I play paintball, there's a specific level that I want to like commit my like body and mind and everything to. Okay. Like I can't, and I'm like working to do this actively, but I cannot like really halfway do things. Like I almost feel like I'm halfway into paintball now. And I'm kind of pretty far in. But I know like the level of commitment as far as like practice that I would be at if I was taking this very, very seriously is not something like I can maintain as mostly like a father and a husband, but also like as a business owner at kind of my like current size, which is not that big, but kind of a lot. And at that point in time, I knew that like the old Pate could not like that person had to die to achieve what I wanted to achieve, which was going to be like really, 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 really hard in a short amount of time. And I actually didn't really have a plan. I just was like, that just going to go full kind of force into a lot of opportunities. And I was pretty successful with some. But like I could not be in paintball. I knew definitely my last year of Katana. Actually, do you remember Vicious?
Yes.
So I was really close with the Bortles when I was in Omaha. Ron was a good friend. Emily was a good friend of my wife. His dad, actually, one of the most impactful conversations I've ever had with anybody was his dad as far as business goes. Like maybe one of the first times I met him at this place called Jericho's. Actually, Trevor Reeser was I can remember the table. I can remember everything about this. It was that impactful. But Karen one time said to me, because I was running like a professional and personal development company at the time, and we were doing okay. But I knew the issue, there was like a scalability issue that I had recognized kind of early on. And I knew that I was going to have to kill that business at some point because I knew that there was a cap unless I wanted to like be Tony Robbins, which I didn't really want to do at that size. And I kind of walked away from like everything but business for a number of like I practiced paintball. I practiced a lot then, and I'd play a tournament here or there just for fun. But I wasn't like in it, and I knew I couldn't be. Just couldn't like I have to put mental energy into something if I want to be successful, and if I don't do that, I feel like I'm cheating it. And that paintball is a team sport, and it's not fair for me to just like go up and show up there and have an expectation. And it's not fair to myself either because like I'm just wasting time. And had a wife. We were trying to I think have kids at the time, which didn't take long, but we were pregnant after that. So um, I mean, sometimes in life you have to make really tough decisions. That was a really, really tough decision. One of the toughest decisions I ever made. But I knew to like do what I wanted, I had to because um, I love paintball so much I couldn't like look at it. I couldn't like be a part of it because the amount of time that it would take. And I regret that a little, but I I'm really happy because it gave me kind of an era of life and an era of experiences that I wouldn't have had.
Right.
Through
Yeah.
2/3 really cool companies.
I mean, you hear the same, not the same, but a somewhat similar story from Ryan Brand. Like he had to leave paintball entirely, left X Factor for a couple of years while he was in his undergrad, and like just the kind of how you put it, like just couldn't like you couldn't like bear to look. It was kind of painful there, and I mean, just knowing that hey, I'm gonna show up and I can only give 75% of myself when the rest of the team is giving 100%. That's a tough thing, but that's kind of getting into the lifestyle of some of these guys that are trying to be professional athletes. Like it really takes everything. Like imagine if your 9 to 5 was paintball. If your 9 to 5 was, hey, I'm gonna go out and do drills and make sure that I'm on top of my my nutrition and your exercise and your recovery, and like that, it takes everything in order to be able to compete at that level. And it just like it, but however, I will say it's great that you recognize like, hey, I'm not like you recognize what a lot of people maybe don't recognize, which is like the amount of commitment that it truly takes to be able to compete at that top level, like the guys on PC Katana that eventually went pro. It just takes so much more than you initially think, and even then, like what it takes, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the reward that you seek.
Yeah, I think that's for anything. Okay, like if you want to be like a great attorney, if you want to be a good paintball player, if you want to be the top ice cream sell guy, wherever you're at, you if you want to be mediocre, that's so easy. Just put in like normal energy, right? Like put in, but if you want to be great, there are levels to that. Um, and there's people. I have learned this recently. at the tippy top of anything, okay? And so I'm talking about, like, the most successful people at anything. So you're talking about, like, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan. If you take the Kobe, LeBron, Jordan of anything, software sales, uh, being an attorney, like, fixing cars, whatever, if you own anything, like, the top guys in like, nobody is here accidentally. Like, nobody, uh, besides, like, people that got divorced or had a husband or wife die and inherited got a bunch of money, like, accidentally became a billionaire. Right? Like, the tip top is very purposeful. The tip top of as an athlete is purposeful, and I think that's what people are lying to themselves about, is they think that normal effort will get you anything, and it gets you nothing. It just gets you mediocrity. Um, and I didn't learn that until recently, but dude, that's what paintball gave me, right? Like, I think that might probably was our problem when I look at TKO in Vegas. Like, I think we put more than mediocre and acceptable effort into practice, and I think we put mediocre or less effort into, like, our mindset and thought about the layout in the tournament. And all of those things have to matter, like, the amount you practice, how you practice, your thought behind it, like, that all matters. When you're at the event, that week leading up to the event, thinking about the layout, like, all those nuggets of information that you pick up, like, that matters. Um, and I think that's the difference between, like, a 5th and a 1st or 2nd.
Definitely. And I do, like, kind of want to back up just a tad bit, talking about TKO, which is your current team, and not the purple TKO up in Dallas. This is
But we were the first one, and we're also, like, the cool swaggy one.
exactly. So what was it that brought you back into the game?
Do you not know this story?
I don't think so.
This is a pretty epic story. So where were we living? I think we were living in Houston at the time. Yeah, we were. I was gone somewhere for work one week, and my wife and I were going on vacation. And I had to get my kids to their grandparents, and so I flew from Houston to Panama City and was flying right back. So basically, flew from Houston to Panama City with all 3 kids by myself. It was the baby's first flight. So, like, the one that's 3 now, it's her first flight. I actually got pooped on in the seat. Absolute, like, I got poop on my hoodie, just absolute disaster. Dropped them off, and I'm in Panama City Airport having some fish tacos and IPA, and these people that are sitting at the bar next to me, all 3 of them get up and, like, dine and dash. And I hear this dude, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry," because the waitress was freaking out because she was gonna have to pay for it, which I don't think is, like, legal, but whatever. I don't think they can I don't know. I had to look at those laws, but anyway, so this dude's like, "Oh, I got it, da da da. I'm gonna pick up their tab," and it's Tyler Harmon.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, "Yo, Tyler?" And Tyler Harmon was, like, sitting on the other side of those people, and so me and him chatted waiting on this flight about paintball, like, I don't know, an hour, and then, like, randomly, we were, like, A1 and A2 on the flight. We talked for, like, 2 hours about paintball, and he was like, "Yo, it's in your being. You need to start back playing." And so I'd played, like, once recreationally at Legends, and somebody put it online that I think I put online, and, like, Thomas Taylor, Damian Ryan, and some other people shared that I was looking for people in Houston to play with, because, dude, I didn't know anybody. I mean, like, I didn't know what to do. I just posted on the gram. They shared it. Cam Dellis, an attorney here in Houston that plays on TKO, he hit me up. It's like, hey, come out and play. So I went and practiced them. First time back in forever. Actually, was playing on Gangster at the time. And we practiced. None of the dudes off of Outlaw will remember this, but so your boy hadn't played but one recreational game in, like, I don't know, 4 years or something like that. And midway through the day, we're playing. At that time, it was Zone Purple, now Outlaw Purple. Just came straight off the bench, won a 1-on-4 against them. No big deal. They won't ever remember it. It's not a big. It's no big deal. I just will always hold that over that, like an old, debatably at the time semi-morbidly obese that hadn't played paintball in 4 years just whipped them in a 4-on-1. I would just be depressed if I was them, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, that's how it happened. And then I played a tournament with them the next week. Played some stuff with them, and then some guys on TKO, Jason Ivy, who's I'm really tight. He lives up here with me now, up in the north of Houston, Conroe area, Montgomery, Texas. I was talking to him about playing with them because I like Jason's vibe. He's a good dude, and dude, we just hit it off, and the TKO thing is going great. Like, even if I didn't play paintball with those dudes, I'd hang with all of them. Like, we're a squad.
Well, I mean, getting that kind of, I guess, almost divine intervention to get you right in front of Tyler Harmon, to get you back into the game. And then, having guys in your corner like Damian, like Thomas Taylor to help you on your search.
Yeah, share some love on the gram. You never know when a share is going to matter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and look at you now. I mean, you've played a ton of events back, since you've gotten back into the game, and you're also the one of the biggest, or I don't know about actually how much it costs or anything like that, but you're one of the bigger names as far as sponsors go with Major League Paintball. So you're probably most known across the country for sponsoring the Pate Smith Law Move of the event, which on the pro field rewards the pro player who has the best single point through prelims, a cash prize, and then a separate, much bigger prize for the best move on the pro field on Sunday. And at this past World Cup, those amounts were $500 for the move of the event and prelims, and a whopping $5,000 for Sunday. So tell us more. What was it that inspired you to begin this sponsorship for the league?
So I think, and this is not a knock on. I mean, I told one of the dudes that worked for NXL actually recently, like, the next time y'all are in those meetings with these media companies, like, Connor and I will do this for free. Like, just bring us in. There's a issue with, like, creative marketing strategies in paintball. Okay, like, I am not overly smart. I just pay attention to how to utilize marketing trends, right? And that's most likely because I grew up in an era when I got to see how digital marketing evolved, right? So, like, I had a Facebook profile when Facebook had right and left side banner ads. I can remember how MySpace marketing worked, and you see all that through time. You see the growth into, like, a YouTube. And paintball's problem is it constantly plays a catch up game. And yeah, I'm not going to kind of go deep into this because this is something that, like, is not overly important for this conversation. But so I was like, okay, X Games growing up, Tony Hawk, the 900, Dave Mirra, the double tail whip. Okay, we want paintball to have success. I want pro players to not have to have secondary jobs. Like, that bothers me. Like, that should bother everyone. Okay. You should take ownership of the success of something you love. And like, my wife and I love a weekend. If I'm not playing a national event on Saturday, the kids are outside. We got paintball on the TV. We're watching, we're probably grilling out. Some people may come over. Like, it's as good as SEC football for us. The issue is, people are doing the same thing that they've been doing since 2003, and it's just, shout out to my boy Connor and Garrett Galloway, but it's just more talk boys. All right, like, talk, 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 talk. But what you gonna do? You're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna talk. Oh, I hope we get this. I hope we get this. We're gonna do this. We're trying this. Like, everything you try is so linear, and your marketing strategies and how you want to be successful. I literally, like, to me, the move of the event, how did nobody else come up with this sooner?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, how about this? If anybody else wants the move of the event sponsorship, take it, and I'll come up with something else, like, to help paintball, because this is easy. I literally just said, like, why do we not have this? Like, what are people doing? We had the MVP, all that. Like, there should be more of these, because it adds a narrative of discussion, right? And Maddie does a great job saying, like, we need to tell stories. How do you tell stories? You have to have things to talk about.
Yep, and I think here in the chat, Verbal's kind of saying the same thing. He said,
don't listen to Verbal. He's from Dallas. Plus, don't trust anybody over 6'5".
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, he says they and he could do so much just himself, but they never want to pay him his worth. And he also thought of the he said he had thought of moving the event, just ran out of money when the social media money stopped in 2022.
God, dude, if you put me and Verb together, magic would happen. Actually, I don't know, but it would be fun.
Just do you have the chat up right now, Pate? Or
yeah, I do, but I don't think mine's updating as quickly as yours.
Okay, he just says he's from Virginia. He just lives in Dallas.
All right, like that. Virginia, Alabama, we got that going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of meth happening in both places.
Oh man. All right, I love it. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I mean, there's the same thing, like, you're seeing, like, all of these new ideas finally starting to actually, like, come out of the discussion phase and into the, hey, let's actually do this thing. Like, things like the Joust and the Duel Tour that Oliver did last year. Things like, the local leagues doing a webcast and offering, like, cash prizes, like, actually big cash prizes, like $5,000 for first place type deal. You're seeing a lot of, I think my issue for the longest time with paintball was they were just kind of preaching to the choir with a lot of things that they were talking about. And even in their, like, marketing, it was like, hey, you're marketing to your base. Like, that's not the goal. The goal is to market to new people, to try and bring them in. And for the longest time, I don't think they truly understood it.
I told the marketing person at Empire how to grow paintball, and it was cheap then. But instead, I'm sure they just kept. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to go into that.
Oh man, yeah. But we're seeing, like, I mean, new initiatives are immediately being met with success, I feel like, and especially in paintball, just because it hasn't, not much innovation has happened for the longest time, even though there's been a need. And it is cool. I will say that Tom Cole seems to actually be doing things and pushing the league in new directions. And we heard earlier today on the Spick and Span, or not Spick and Span, on Play the Game, that they've got a thing going with Caffeine TV, and apparently like the viewership numbers on their platform are massive, and they've got a major, another major sponsor that he hinted is in the clothing industry is going to be coming on with the league pretty soon. I mean, he's got the Hertz rental car sponsorship. He's got, the sponsored bunkers, and it seems to me that like things are actually moving now, and it's an exciting time.
I am super excited. My hope is that like it's so successful I can't afford to do it. Like that's my hope. My hope is that like I don't know. I would love to see every pro player with in the like top 10 teams with like a 75,000 plus base salary. And the top guys, like look at the top players. The top players in anything. The top guy in I don't know, throwing bean bags. He gets X amount from like Johnsonville Brats a year. Why do we not have this? And I think we got to like kind of, I think we got to stop saying like, hey, we need to do X, and people just start doing it. I will say this. I have talked to somebody at NBC about paintball.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wasn't the sole reason I was talking to a person from that was involved in this about paintball. And do you know what their reason is? It's because it doesn't have to do with numbers. It has to do with lack of engagement. And lack of engagement just isn't like numbers of views. It's also clicks and clicks to buys. You can have low engagement, but if you have low engagement but with high click to buys and an expensive product, like they'll also invest because they know that those people will advertise.
Well, hopefully we see kind of the league or the industry as a whole kind of start getting with the times, because it's definitely needed an update. And Verbal's definitely spouting off in the chat with his thoughts there too. And so this other question that I have for you, which is brought to us by Mariachi Aguilas de Oro. So you're putting up quite a bit of cash for these Move of the events, which, I mean, the World Cup one being $5,000 does, it seems like a huge amount of money just because it's not something that's been in the sport for a long time. But, in the grand scheme of things for a professional league, that's not very much. But I guess my question for you, like, do you see, like, is this more of like a passion project of yours, or is there like any sort of returns that you're seeing through offering these prizes and putting your name on it?
Yeah, I do get a return. I don't like go into that, but it's let's say an acceptable return for the investment. But that's not why we do it. So I did it before I had my own law firm. And then in transition, like people don't know this either, but transitioning into my own law firm, there was an event that happened. And if you'll go back and see, that event was brought to you by the Pate and Mary Catherine Smith family. Because at that time, I couldn't legally advertise a law firm because of some things that were like that law firm. My law firm wasn't up and going at the time in a manner to where I could. And so we love paintball. Paintball has given me a lot. My best friends are from paintball. I'm semi-successful in some parts of life because of paintball. I feel like I'm a better dad when I play paintball, and I'm a better husband. And so if I can do something, why not do it? That's the problem. People aren't doing enough. Like, do more. Like, what does this give us? This is amazing. We're all hanging out here on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, be over there playing your piano. I see you in the corner, but you're not. We're having a good time together. And there's a value to that. And my hope is that, like, we get more of this. And there's more Christian Smiths doing more podcasts. And there's more Pate Smiths that are putting effort and time and thought into creative things to make this better, right? Like, dude, you just did a joust. Like, you did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that is awesome. That is effort. That is care. That's what we have to have. And so, like, do I get a return? Yeah. Do I care? I do care. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But it's not about the return. It's about, like, I get the return when I go to the field. I get the return when I'm in the group chat with the boys talking about paintball, talking about specific things. It's so amazing that sometimes I get, like, aggravated at this sport because it's like I'm aggravated about something that is so light and carefree and amazing, but I'm not thinking about, like, the heaviness of life. And, like, in my worst times, like, people passing that I care about, like, very low times of my life, paintball has, like, been there for me, right? And, as I've gotten older, there's very few things that have just, like, remained true and remained, like, kind of beautiful and perfect, and paintball is one of those things.
I definitely agree with that. And it's just, the game is, there's so much that it has to offer us, like, beyond the game itself, like the community with others and the life lessons that it teaches us. Like the joust, for example, like, I didn't do it because I thought I could make money off of it. I did it because I thought that it was just gonna be a ton of fun. I genuinely enjoyed the time that I had competing in the joust that Oliver did on his tour. And I thought that, you know, the changes that I made with the whole cards thing would make it a more fun deal. And I don't know, I'm kind of surprised that more jousts haven't happened across the country. Like, I know they were doing them, like, for a little bit over at Outlaw Paintball, at not Outlaw, Wasteland in the dojo. They were doing them for a couple of months there. But it's just not a thing that's been taken off. And I don't know, it surprises me a little bit. Like, even with the podcast itself, I'm not doing it because I'm getting a ton of views. If I were doing it for the viewership, then I'd only be having, you know, pro players on. And by all means, I could do that, but that's not why. Like, I'm not doing it because I think I can make a ton of money through Patreon or whatever. It's not the reason. Like, if those were the reasons, then I wouldn't be doing things like having an all girls team come on the show. I wouldn't be doing things like highlighting, like, you know, guys like Clint Riddle, who pour, you know, in a very unique way, his time and his talent into the game to help contribute. I mean,
You've had Dylan on, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, why would you, like, bro? I mean, obviously that was not for the views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And but
like, why is this guy janking on me?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have. You know, I've had guys like Jason Bonner twice on the show. Like,
God, best of luck.
I love you guys, but I mean, that's the reason that we do it is just it contributes so much more. But like, it at the same time, like, we could, like, if everybody treated this like the potential that this sport could reach, like, we would be in, you know, potentially in a similar position as some of these other sports. Like, you know, we could be on the level of the X Games. We could be on the level of anything.
Let's not worry about the X Games. Let's just be pickleballs and bean bags. All right, let's take the Mike Bianca coaching the Hurricanes approach. Let's win a point and let's win 2 points. Hey, let's win 2 points back to back. Now let's win a match. Paintball, what we got to do? Let's beat the bean bags. Let's beat the pickleball. Then we can shoot for the X Games.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, but we gotta kind of have that in our sights rather than, you know, going back to what we were saying about putting in the mediocre effort. Like, that's not just for our own personal games, so that's for the scene as a whole.
Dude, do you think this, I bet this episode will have your highest viewership in single moms age 25 to 45.
I don't know. I'd have to look at some of the other guests that I've had, but and that would be I don't know if I have the access to those kind of metrics, but
I'll tell you this, somebody at, NXL told me that the TKO team I play for had the, highest number of single moms, age 25 to 45 on the sidelines of our games, which I thought that was amazing.
maybe that can be a side objective of ours.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I just talking about the data. I don't know why. That's all I have.
Love it. I don't know how I can compete with that. I definitely I mean, I think I'm good with those, but maybe some of the other guys on the Titans will appreciate that. All right. So yeah, here, let me double check the chat. Yeah, just some more discussion. I'm all for it. So this next question is brought to us by Bem Raps, and also by Paintball Kumite, which is Colt Roberts' little training regimen that he does. So there's yeah, shout out to Colt, episode 1's guest, and he's been on the show a couple of times, kind of helping support the show and get things kicked off to where we are now. So so as far as the different ways that the league has kind of offered sponsorship avenues, there's other like more visible ways arguably to sponsor the NXL, such as like sponsoring a bunker on the field or like paying for an advertisement that plays between the matches. However, specifically the move of the event has had a huge impact on the players like that compete in the pro division by directly putting the money in their pocket while also kind of incentivizing some highlight moments on the field. So have you like gotten your desired effect on the league since you've begun sponsoring this prize?
Yeah. Easy. Yes, like the goal was to provide, that Tony Hawk, that Dave Mirra moment. And I think people are working for that. I've had a lot of really positive feedback from the players. And like, dude, that's all I care about.
It's awesome. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by a message in the chat. We were just talking about the single moms, and of course,
Uh-oh, what's popping off? Hold on, I'm seeing if I pulled it up. Uh-oh. There we go.
All right, that's all I'll say about that one. As my wife is pulling up YouTube.
We got Jessica Stavina. I think I've seen her on the sidelines. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
Zoom in on that.
All right, so this next question is brought to us by Bioworks IV. So, and shout out to Bioworks, shout out to Anson, who's doing liquid IV hydration services, doing house calls at the NXL events. So if that's something that you're wanting, go ahead and message him on, using the phone number that was in the pre-roll ad. You can either text or give him a call so that you can reserve your IV bags for NXL Dallas. So, do you see any potential benefit for other companies outside of paintball, even like smaller local businesses, to be sponsoring either national or local leagues with prizes like this?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what they sell or what they have, what their service is, and kind of their so everything in that. So if we're talking from a completely we're just pure business perspective, right? Like return on investment, dollar to gain. Okay. There is a Marcelo, dude, this is so funny. Marcelo told me when I was like, hey, I want to do this whole thing. He was like, dude, you can't get an ROI off of this. And I'm like, bro, like, I can't get an ROI. Like, bro, I don't tell you how to lane people, right? Like, this is easy. If you have the correct, understand your average cost per acquisition, okay? and you go into something like the league, and you understand like your investment, that investment with what you think your acceptable return is. So let's say you need like a 3x, a 5x, and 8x return to like meet, what other forms of marketing can do. I don't know if people are following me, but all you have to do is figure that out, make a strategic plan, and then make it easy. So for me, the best part is like I only need like one person to hit me up a year to make it worth it, and we've done better than that. And but for other people, it really depends on your like profitability if it's a service too, right? So like let's say you had like a Stanley steamer, okay? I don't understand why like companies like Stanley Steamer, All Dry, Serve Pro, like there should be these companies should be investing in like service companies in general is what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like home service companies. Like these companies should be like deep in paintball. Why? Because like there's a lot of people who do what? Own homes or at least lease homes, right? And then these people typically have expendable income, right? So, but in those situations, it doesn't matter because when a house has like a flood, you have carpet damage, etc., you're going to immediately address it because it's a need.
Mm.
And so when that happens, a person thinks, who do I use? Who do I know that does this? So if your average ticket item, let's say you're a Serve Pro, is like a 25,000 and you're at like a 40 to 70% margin. So let's just going to say 40 on the low, 25 at 40, $10,000 profit. So that means that if you invested $5,000 an event in NXL, which would put you at 25,000 on the year, that you would need 2.5 average purchases in a year to make your money back. Well, that's not really good because we're not looking to make our money back. We're looking to make a desired multiple. So let's say that they expect to make an 8x return. I'm guessing. I have no clue. I'm just going to toss that out. I could be completely off here. I would think that that would be an acceptable return minimum. So you're going to say 8x, 10, 25. So you're going to need 160 plus 40, 200,000. So you're going to need 20 purchases. You're telling me there's not 20 people that have carpet or flooding damage in their home a year? In the entire paintball?
Well, I think those opportunities are definitely there. It's just the
Like if you're a national roofing company, why do you not sponsor paintball? Let's say you have to put in 50,000 a year. Your average ticket price is going to be 65,000. Your return on that's going to be 33%, 22,000. What do you need on a? You're going to say 8x on that again. 20 purchases. You don't think there's 20 people in paintball a year that need a roof?
I'm sure there is. And I think part of that is like why the things like the Hertz rental car sponsorship with the league makes so much sense. And it's so exciting to see because it's like, hey, we're starting to connect some dots there that, hey, paintballers travel and paintballers need rental cars when they go to events. So maybe we see like, like Holiday Inn sponsors an event or a league, even at the local level. Like, I know in Texas, like, whenever we travel to fit, we need a place to stay. If there's suddenly a hotel sponsor that maybe they offer, a code, then I guarantee you there's going to be a lot more paintballers that are, you're going to sell out, 5 weekends a year. And, I don't know what the margins of the returns look like, but if, I do know that empty hotel rooms don't make money.
Yeah, I'm deep in the hotel game because of my business. I think it really their margins really depend on it. It fluctuates pretty drastically, right? Because they're going to change price of rooms depending on like time of year, et cetera. They have like metrics on that. But yeah, I mean, can also get a hotel room for like $14 in Vegas for a pretty decent spot. And those numbers drop because they're trying to get people in. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious, like with the Sahara being the official event hotel, I'm curious how they did.
They were sold out on Sunday.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, it was what, like the week before spring break? You know, how many people are going to Vegas the week before spring break and staying, that far, I guess, or in that specific location?
Mm-hmm. Who goes to Vegas on spring break is the real question. You got to be an absolute degenerate to do that, dude. You and the boys, you're like, we're sophomores, and you can't even. What are you going to do? I mean, you can't even drink till you're a junior. I mean, legally, and in Vegas, there's real strict. So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, they're probably not worried about that.
Well, I mean, just shows all the more value that we're providing, right?
So true.
So this next question is brought to us by FU Athletics. So throughout all of the moments in your career in paintball, do you have a single favorite moment?
I won like the first big tournament I ever won was a CFOA 5-man, D3. Dude, it may have been called Rookie still then. There was no D4 at that point in time. Just D2, D3, 2, 1 Pro. But I was like 2006 or 7, and it was the finals, and my gun didn't work the whole point. I was in back center in a Mini X and just working on this thing, dude, to the point to where I had the tank off, the bolt out, everything, bro. I mean, full point. Comes down to a one-on-one. I get this thing back together, balls start coming out. Like the second that the balls came out of the halo, turn my gun on, shoot it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'd been in the one-on-one, like head checking this kid for a minute. And remember, at this point in time, there's no sideline talking as well. So this was like right when you didn't have it in 5-man. Came out. Patrick Murphy was a kid's name. He later played with me on LA SWAT and then one event in PC Katana. I think we got third at MAO and D3. Shot him just straight in the grill, hung the flag. That would be up there. And then like the last PSP ever, I coached Katana in D2, and we won. And dude, coaching a national event win with guys that you like literally love, but like not playing, just like, oh, that was awesome.
Coaching is something else. I mean, I do it with our lower divisional lines, and it's definitely rewarding. It's frustrating at times, very frustrating at times. But
especially, my favorite coaching thing is when someone tells you, they're like, "Oh, I'm in a pinch there," and you're like, "Bro, you're not in a pinch. Like, the person's right in front of you. There's no angle here." They're like, you cannot convince a person of that.
Oh yeah, well, Chris Ballou in the chat, he says he's feeling attacked here, Pate.
Oh, I wonder why. I don't know. That's interesting. That was not directed at him. Maybe he's talking about the single moms 25 to 45. That was, I don't know, that was why he feels attacked. I don't know.
Maybe. All right, so looking ahead, this question is brought to us by 71 Designs. So the NXL Lone Star Major is just a few weeks away, and the layout's going to drop next Wednesday. So what does Pate Smith Law have in store for that event and for the events for the rest of this season?
Just normal. I mean, I'll be playing. My mom and my wife and kids will be hanging at the event, so stop by and see them. You'll probably be able to tell to be like two twin 8-year-olds just running around causing chaos. Just give them a shout out. I'll be playing. We do have some cool collabs coming down the road. Can't really talk about it yet till they're kind of more concrete. But one of them we worked on today. We got some cool Pate Smith law stuff coming for paintball that I'm excited about. Connor, my COO, is really heavily involved in that, and I'm very appreciative kind of what he brings with that, but that's fun. Then I don't know, obviously, just keep playing, until like I tear an ACL or something, I guess.
No, we don't need that energy. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Bless the knees, bless the ankles. Don't need to be manifesting that. Not right now. Oh no.
Or until my wife says I can't play anymore.
Mm.
She's sitting next to me about to pass out.
No, we ride this as long as we can. Sure.
How old are you?
I just turned 28.
Nice. That was it's like a good time kind of, because you're it's like you've still got that like youthful like speed and ability to heal up, but you just start getting those good like nagging injuries.
Oh no, I mean I've had a herniated disc for 2 years now, and that's been a time to try and recover from.
Yeah.
It was
wait till you get a herniated disc, and then when you walk by a mirror and you're like, dang, and I've got a receding hairline. It hurts way worse.
Oh man, I don't need that energy either. Keep that away from me. All right, so this next question is brought to us by Hydra. So looking to the future as far as your team goes, we're also excited to see TKO improve upon their quarterfinal finish in Vegas, where you guys took 5th out of 47. So how are you guys getting ready for this one?
I thought we kind of did not good in Vegas. I think for us, it's been more about just linking mentally. I think some of us were beat up. I think we're gonna differentiate our practice approach is going to be a little different this time. I think I blame that maybe on me, but I think we're gonna do some things differently this time. I think anytime like with that roster we don't finish top 3 in that division, it's just, what did we do? Like, we definitely messed up. We are definitely gonna not do that again at some point in time, and we're gonna have to really make sure that we're, I don't know, like, let me ask you a question. Okay, so like where you're at with the Titans, everything you got going with Project, you got this podcast. Mm-hmm. Like, even though you're involved in paintball constantly, how much are you able, in between the time that the layout drops and the time that you play, and able to invest like mental energy into the very like nuanced pieces of like thought to have success on a layout?
I mean, for
like,
me,
how much if this then this are you thinking about?
I don't know. My process is like, first get the basics down, which for me is breakout shooting. That I spend probably a significant amount of time doing, getting all my shots down, knowing that, hey, if I shoot this lane and they run through it, I will get this kill. So that's the biggest thing for me, because that's just the biggest piece of advice that I've gotten from any current or former pros on how to prepare for an event. That the first thing they say is spend a good chunk of time on breakout shooting, doing breakouts with, shooting back on both sides. Do that for a couple hours, and then you can transition into the situationals and the full points. So once I've got the breakout shooting down, because I mean, if you're playing every point 5-on-4,
I'm saying like after you leave practice, first weekend's over. So you wake up on Monday, you go to work. Between that Monday and that Thursday or Friday, I don't know if y'all practice at the layout or not, but how much thinking are you doing?
Oh, constantly.
I think that's our biggest problem. That is our problem on that line. And that's not like we only have like all of our guys are old. You know what I'm saying? We only have like
Right.
a 5.
I mean, to be fair, at work, like me going to work is me bouncing ideas off of Ryan Brand and Archie Montemayor. So I'm in a unique situation there.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I'm definitely doing a lot of thinking, a lot of hyping leading up to the event because I'm definitely not wanting to go home early.
Those thoughts are the difference between like, I don't know, shows and success.
Well, I don't know, just getting to that level. I mean, at a certain point, it's a mental game, right? And I mean, guys on Dynasty have shown. I mean, you know, how many of those guys are 40 plus and they're still at the very top because of the mental game. Not that they're not athletic.
I think Greenspan is got to be old. Like they say he's like 40. He's got to be like in his mid. I can remember when I was in high school, I think the guy was like 38. So
how old is he now? I want to say he's like 43.
Yeah,
like
he's up there. And he just had kids. Bro, I'm going to tell you this. I'm 38 now. I definitely do not have twin babies in me at 42. Like, ooh, that's a roller coaster. I could not imagine.
Yeah, well, congrats to you, Ryan. 42 verbal says in the chat, so it was close.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're still getting it done. So it's a mental game for sure. All right, Pate. So I think we're getting here towards the end of our show. This next question that is brought to us by Get That Shot is the one that I ask everybody that comes on the show. It helps me keep tabs on anybody flying under the radar out there and contributing to the scene, you know, in however which way. So message GetThat_shot on Facebook or Instagram if you're needing media coverage at the upcoming NXL Lone Star Major event. So, Pate, is there anybody in Texas in the paintball community? It could be a team, player, brand, project that have caught your attention lately. Who do you think deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
I mean, Texas in general is amazing just because of the effort that everybody here puts into paintball. It's incredible. I mean, you've got Splat Zone. That's an amazing facility. You know, everybody's constantly raising their bar. Wasteland comes in, Zone makes their place better. Zone being one of the like all-time, you know, like if you look at like great fields around the country that have put out amazing players in the last, I don't know, 20 years, Zone's got to have a lot of, you know, top podiums. Zone teams have kicked people out of tournaments a lot through the years. And that's because of that facility. They just made it better. You know, I think you look at like the Outlaw program, the Titans program, like all these programs, people don't get enough shout outs for how much effort and how amazing this is. Because, you know, you got like guys like Dylan, right? Like, I know how much, dude, on Katana, we just had I just had to worry about one team. Like Dan had a D4 team and a D5 team and all that. But like just the logistics for our 9 guys was a nightmare. You know, I was talking to Dylan like a month or so ago about a practice. We were talking about, you know, the difficulties of these regional teams. And like these people are putting in a legit amount of effort. And that's the Phils at Outlaw, the Dylans, there's dudes in Austin. You know, everybody who's got these programs, there's a lot of them here. You know, there's like 90 of them in Dallas. Everybody over there is weird, though. You know, you ever notice that about Dallas people? They're a little weird. Like even the girls, like you'll be out somewhere and you're like, whoa, she was kind of weird. She had like 9-inch eyelashes, and that's like a Dallas thing. We don't really know why they do that. I mean, it's not like we don't accept them, but you know, we notice it, right? Like it's just something something about that area. I don't know why.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm not gonna get involved in the crossfire there. I spent too much time in Dallas.
I spend a little time there for work for sure. Little time every month.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with your point as far as like the quality of programs, like the number of programs and the quality of programs that have popped up in Texas, like post COVID, I would say, because like pre COVID, think of the programs that were around. It weren't very many. It was like the Shut Up or Trying program, and Notorious, and I mean, there were programs that have come and gone kind of in that area, like Phalanx and TOG, but nowadays there's like I can probably name more than 10 programs that have multiple lines in Texas alone, and they're all like very successful. Like none of them are like, oh, you show up and like, hey, we're playing against Greed or Avarice or one of those guys. It's not going to be an easy game. Or hey, we're playing against Houston Zones. You know, hey, it's a Houston Zone team. You got to prepare. Or hey, it's the Titans. You got to prepare. You know, hey, you Shut Up or Trying. We got to prepare. You know, there's so many programs, and they've all benefited their players because they're sticking with the same system for multiple years. They're sticking with the same players for multiple years, and that definitely a way to learn the ropes whenever you're not having to worry about switching the calls that you're using every year or every event.
For sure. I'll tell you this, like I don't know. I think this is gonna be the new thing in paintball, and I'm trying it out, but I'm telling you this, stop communicating. Try it and just kind of let the game just go with the vibe on how you're feeling, what you think you should shoot. I think that's the next level. I would say you guys should try that out next Titans practice.
Well, this, yeah, right. We'll you want us to do it next time we play against TKO, or
you can do it. You can do it anytime. I just think that's the next step. And there's going to be a learning curve, right? You're not going to like it at first, but dude, I am telling you, stop the communication, just feel the vibe, do your thing, you know, like, oh, I should shoot over here, look like I make a move. But, you know, like, oh, do we need to cross? I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, you can.
Oh, don't knock it till you try it. I can see the look in your eyes right now. You're not feel like, talk to Dylan, be like, Dylan, listen, this is it.
Yeah, well, Pate, I think you're the perfect person to implement the test run here. So let us know how it goes in Dallas.
I've been doing it for years, dude. I've been doing it for years. I hadn't set a code, I don't know, since probably 0405.
Love it. All right, Pate. So I think that just about does it for our show. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a blast. It's definitely been a great one. This final question is brought to us by Compete, which is Jell Stewart's brand. Message him on Facebook or Instagram. Mention In the Pits for 10% off of your order of soft goods. So, Pate, thank you. Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
A shout out to Wasteland Paintball, Abraham Watkins Law Firm, the big sponsors for us in TKO. Also, shout out to my wife because she lets me and encourages me to do this and watches the kids so I can do it, and really makes like everything. My life is pretty crazy in general, like with business, with everything we do. And she really kind of holds everything down and makes it possible. You know, she's part of the reason I'm sponsor the NXL, and she's the main, you know, she was one of the main encouraging factors for me to start back playing. And I think, you know, if she wasn't watching the kids and she wasn't supportive, it would be a big weight. And it's not. And that is something that I really appreciate, because I know there's like a lot of wives and a lot of moms that see this as not an amazing benefit. I think she knows like it's part of me, And I think that is a very unselfish thing that I really am appreciative of. So I want to just give her a shout out.
For sure. Shout out to the wives out there. Shout out to my loving wife who's actually listening in on the show right now.
Dude,
she look at the chat real quick. Just look at it.
Oh no. Let's see what's popping off in here.
Oh man.
And I'd like to thank all the single moms out there. I mean, y'all, thank you, single moms, for coming to all the TKO games. I don't know how you guys find out about our game times. And like none of us are single, but you're still there. I guess you're just waiting in case I don't know, like catastrophe strikes. But I appreciate that, and I can definitely say, like, come on to the other side. We need pit help in Dallas. We'd be appreciative of that. Or if you want to, bring baked goods or something of that nature, it'd be appreciative. Pickle juice, anything like that. But yeah, thank them too.
Shout out to all the single moms in paintball. All right. So I think that's a perfect way to close out this show. So Pate, thank you so much. Everybody that's tuning in online, thank you so much. Be sure to go follow Pate at Pate G Smith on Instagram, all one word. So what other guests would you all like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast, and recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner and sponsor tier subscribers on Patreon, FU Athletics, Get That Shot, Paintball Kumite, Compete, Bem Wraps, Hydra, XTPL Events, Mariachi Águilas de Oro, Pod Runners Union, 71 Designs, and Bioworks IV. We'll see you guys next week for episode 95, where we're going to have Jonathan Spaniel of QBR. He's going to be coming on the show. He's going to have a booth in Dallas. So we're going to talk about that. The layout's going to be out by then, so we'll talk about the layout as well. And so should be a great episode. And we're counting down to 100. I'm excited for that. So definitely stay tuned, because we'll start dropping little nuggets of who our guest for episode 100 is going to be.
Awesome, bro. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Pate, and everybody online. Again, we'll see you all next week. Take care.